Okay, now I want to talk about the Makiyah Briant shooting in Columbus and also give you my thoughts on the George Floyd and Derek Chauvin being found guilty on all charges. First, we'll go over the Makiyah Briant shooting that happened. Makiyah is a foster child, and she was at her foster home, and these girls came there looking for a fight. I don't know what the exact details are on why they were there and why the fight happened, but someone called the police and told them that there was someone with a knife there threatening them. The initial reports is that Makiyah herself called the cops for protection from these girls that showed up. The way I look at it, there's two perspectives to look at this case. There's Makiyah's perspective of the situation, and then there's the responding officer's perception of the event. Okay? Now, Makiyah, she might have went and got that knife for protection. I'm all about self-protection. I'm a staunch Second Amendment advocate. Now, I carry a gun. I won't go get a knife, but she might have felt that she needed to defend herself from these women with a knife. And that's fine if they were in the process of attacking her, right? And that's the thing. You have to look at it from that defense perspective. And when you look at the body cam footage that was released, it doesn't necessarily look like it was a defensive action. She was attacking one girl that fell down to the ground, and then she went and attacked the girl in pink that seemed like she was kind of removed from the situation, like she was just there. So it really doesn't seem like it was so much in self-defense. And if she didn't call the cops, if somebody else called the cops saying that there was a girl with a knife that's threatening them, it necessarily wouldn't be self-defense every time. The second perspective is from the cop's point of view. The cop gets a call to respond. He shows up, he knows that someone has a knife, or that someone had a knife. And when he gets out, that's exactly when she's attacking the first girl that falls on the ground and rolls, which I think it was her foster parent, her foster dad, that was actually trying to help her and was kicking a girl on the ground. I don't know how that should really play out. But after that girl fell and her foster dad kind of like took over, she saw the girl in pink and went at her. And after she got off the girl that was on the ground, the cop was already telling her to put it down, stop. She didn't. She went right for the girl in pink. She had the knife low at first. She pushed her against the car, and then she raised that knife like she was going to either stab her in the neck or the face, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was an attack, right? That cop sees another person's life in danger. He responded and sadly shot her 4 times, and she passed away. Now, a lot of people are saying, why did he have to shoot her 3 times? Why didn't he use a taser? Why didn't he use a non-lethal force? Well, first off, tasers don't always work.
I'll get you, bitch.
And seeing as how tasers don't always work, sometimes you miss, they deploy and the barbs shoot off and only one goes in and it doesn't get a good connection with the person that you're trying to subdue and nothing happens. Second, she already had a knife and she was already within that close distance where a knife can be very lethal. Now with tasers not working all the time, yeah, but then some people are also saying, oh, he should have shot her in the leg or shoot to wound, not shoot her 4 times and kill her. Well, you got to think about training, okay? Police are trained to shoot until the threat is down or until the threat stops. One shot from a 9mm might not have affected her that much. She could have continued on with the stabbing and killed that girl in the pink. The cop didn't stop shooting until he saw her fall and that the threat was neutralized. Now, we don't know what the girl in the pink's role was in this whole situation, but put yourself in her shoes. If another girl with a knife was coming at you, trying to stab you, would you want the cop to wait, not shoot her? I mean, in my opinion, that cop was a pretty good shot. Shot 4 times, hit her 4 times, and didn't hit the girl in pink. That's good. But then, after she's down, everyone starts complaining, why'd you shoot her, why'd you shoot her? She only had a knife. Well, knives are lethal. I mean, before we had guns, we had knives and swords. So I really don't get that complaint. Saying she's just a kid, okay, kids can still kill, especially if they have a knife or a gun. It happens. I'm sorry she was a minor, I'm sorry she lost her life, but she chose to attack at least 2 that we know of with a knife. Could have killed them both. Then you have some leftists saying that the cops shouldn't have arrived and started shooting when they were just having a knife fight. Well, it wasn't a knife fight, because this is a knife fight. What this was one person attacking multiple people with a knife. So when the cop shows up, He has no idea what's going on, really. He just knows that someone's threatening somebody with a knife. He sees the woman with the knife, attack one, and then attack another, and about to stab her. So he made that decision. And I think it was the correct one. Again, I'm sorry she lost her life, but you have to live or die by the decisions you make. Well, now let's get into the George Floyd situation where police officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all charges. I think this was a political trial. I think Derek Chauvin didn't get a fair trial at all. I think the jurors were intimidated to give a guilty verdict so that they didn't see any reprisals from any rioters, media, or whoever, right? I mean, all you should have to show as a defendant is that there's reasonable doubt in your guilt, because the burden of proof is on the state to prove that you were guilty. Now, when everybody saw the footage of Chauvin on his neck or doing that knee restraint, right? Even I got a little emotional. I was like, hey, dude, whoa. But then I thought about it. I took my emotion out of it, looked at it objectively, and he was only leaning on one side of the neck, not both. Think about your anatomy. You got your carotid arteries and you got your jugular veins, right? That run one of each on each side. So if you close off one side, you still got the other side going. It's kind of like a redundant system. If you block this side off, you're not gonna make anyone pass out. Like say, for instance, in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if you do a rear naked choke, it's either an air choke, which cuts off your air supply where you can't breathe, kind of what happened to Eric Gardner in New York, or it's a blood choke, where you close off both sides to where the blood doesn't get to the brain and you pass out. And after the person passes out, so if you continue to hold it, then you can cause brain damage and death. I already talked about in my other video about my accidental overdose on opiates when I was getting my arm amputated. Seeing as how George Floyd had 3 times the dose just to overdose. He had 3 times that overdose limit. Add that to the fact that he had heart disease, where he had an enlarged heart and his arteries were fairly clogged, and he had meth in his system, along with that ridiculous amount of fentanyl, which is a synthetic opiate. There's too many factors involved to say that this one thing caused his death definitively, and it was murder. In my opinion, at most, it should have been manslaughter, but that's my opinion. The verdict was reached. He was found guilty on all charges. People accept that. But those that are in Minneapolis, those that are rioting across the country for this verdict, they're not really rioting because they got the verdict they didn't want. They got the verdict that they wanted, but they're still doing it because it's not about that one person, George Floyd. It's about their narrative and getting what they want. And now they're latching on to Makiyah Briant's situation and her getting shot by police. Which reminds me, LeBron James. LeBron James tweeted out, he got a picture of supposedly the officer that was involved in the shooting of Makiyah, and he said, "You're next." And then he hashtagged accountability. Now, what did he mean by "you're next"? Did he mean "you're next" as in you should die next or get shot next? Or did he mean "you're next" as in Chauvin's down, now you're gonna be on trial for murder? He deleted that tweet and tweeted out a couple of rebuttals, but if you read those rebuttals, I mean, I would have had someone proofread that shit. If I had that many followers on all different platforms that are going to read my tweet, and it's about a situation like this, a police involved shooting, come on, dude. I mean, I know you're an athlete, but show some intelligence, And those are my thoughts on the whole Makiyah Briant shooting and the George Floyd / Derek Chauvin trial where he was found guilty. If you guys liked it, go ahead and smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You can head on over to the Facebook page where I post all my videos there, possibly memes. And if you'd like to support this channel, head on over to ballisticinc.com, go to my little section, Fitty, you'll see the Fitty logo, and there will be all the t-shirts and apparel that I sell on that website. There's a lot of stuff that I design myself, and there are also communal designs that all the YouTubers there sell too. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.